When it comes to running a lawn and landscape business, there's always something to worry about. Are my drivers and crews doing their job? Are my clients happy? Are my trucks and machines safe? How can I make more money? Where can I save some money? With GPS Track It, you don't have to worry about it, because our software gives you a level of clarity and control over your business that you've never had. From real-time vehicle and asset tracking and optimized routing to efficiency reports and more, reach your fullest business potential. Call 866-845-1410 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to get started. That phone number and special link are in the show description. GPS Track It.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, wanted to talk to you guys today about a topic that I think relates to so many of us, especially this time of year, and a topic that pretty much every single person that I've talked to in email or phone call or in person, in some way, shape, or form, it stems up this time of year, and that is the topic of burnout. And what I wanted to do was share a couple thoughts, some inspiration, some wisdom, even, if you will, from a friend of mine, Greg Woodstock, on a personal conversation that I had with him not too long ago, talking about the topic of burnout. But I wanted to do it in a different fashion or a different manner, and talking about getting rid of things that you don't like to do in your business. And here's why I wanted to talk about this topic specifically today is I've been on tour talking to a lot of different people, doing the spring tour series, doing the summer tour series. We're going to do a fall shop tour series. And it's one of those things where the people that are growing well and growing fast, they seem to be focused on what they like to do for their company, what they like to do in their company. They're very happy typically in the role that they are in, and specifically, like, they've got rid of the roles that they don't like to do. They've been able to build a team or a company around the different aspects of the company that they no longer like to do. And I've come to find that a lot of people, once you hit that sweet spot and you really enjoy doing what you're supposed to be doing for the company, like the topic or the role that you enjoy, you seem to want to stay there and, build a system or a team around making sure that that's kind of your role. And some people, of course, will grow through there, or they'll, stumble backwards. Dan Martell talks a little bit about that in the Buy Back Your Time book. People, stall, they sell, or they sabotage, right? So, and here's why I wanted to talk about this topic today is it relates to the topic of burnout. And I think, and I'd like to approach it a little bit differently than most people do. Like, and I've even said, on a podcast or on YouTube videos, if you wanted to avoid burnout, you have to find a break. You need to go from break to break, or vacation to vacation, or from peak to peak, or take time out for yourself, or mental health, or, all that kind of stuff, right? And a lot of you guys have heard that. A lot of you guys get that. A lot of people say that. And I think there's a lot of merit to that. I mean, if you're just grind, and you've spent, nothing but 12-hour days in the field for 2 months, 3 months, 5 months already, it's 100 degrees where you live, 110-degree real feels, or 80s and 90s and humid. Sometimes 110 degrees is brutal. Other times 87 degrees with, 85% humidity is just as bad or just as worse. So, and it's all relative. People in the Midwest dealing with 90s is just like people in the South dealing with 110. It's all relative. Everybody's acclimated differently, right? But I talked to Greg about a topic like this just a couple months back. I had a personal phone call with him. I was asking him some questions. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to grow. And it wasn't necessarily about burnout. It was about growth and some different things that Liz and I were trying to achieve personally and professionally. But did it strike a chord, and did it make some sense? And I thought it related perfectly with the folks that I'm talking to on tour. Seeing them that are happy, they're growing, they're doing things that they like doing, they're in a flow state, they're in a creative state, they're doing what they want to do. The people that are burned out, especially as well, like, well, why are we burned out? Let's talk about that. Let's peel that back. Let's reveal why we are burned out. And then also, like, if we are going to enjoy this as a business or as a career, what does that look like? How do we stay in that flow state? How do we get ourselves there? And there's two guiding sentences that I just want to spend a few minutes on today. Nothing crazy. We're going to hear from today's show sponsors in just a quick minute, but here's what I wanted to just kind of tee up and kind of cue up. I asked Greg and he said, well, really simply, success in building a business comes down to what do you like? What are you good at? And then build a system that allows you to do that. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's what do you like to do? What are you good at doing? And then building a system that allows you to do that. It's very, very simple, but yet it was so profound. As you guys have probably heard people say, right? It was so simple, but to me, it was so profound because I was talking to Greg about different, sizes of businesses and companies, and there's certain things that I like to do, certain things I absolutely hate doing. I hate doing end of month billing for my company. Is that okay to admit? We do the work all day, all week, all month, and then it comes to the end of the month and I'm like, oh God, it's the last thing I want to do right now is bill out for $1,000, $5,000, 10 grand, 100 grand, whatever you guys do, whatever we do, whatever you guys do, right? And ironically enough, you think like, hey, like you threw out your fishing line, you got one, you got a catch and then you got to reel that thing in. I'm like, the least thing I like to do is like reel it in. That's just me. Is that okay to say? Like, that's one thing that I'm, not lazy on, but that's something that I struggle with. It's doing my end of month billing. And it's not bad. It's not evil. It's not wrong. It's not like we, take 10 extra days to do it. It's always done in the last 2 days of the month, the first 2 days of the next month, right? It's not that big of a deal, but I really don't like to do it. And I was talking to my wife, Liz, and I was also talking to Greg, and we're talking about this specific topic, but many other different things. And Greg said, well, if you build a bigger company, he goes, what are some things that you're doing right now that are taking time and energy and focus away from doing what you like, doing what you're good at, and then building a system around that? And I said, well, end of month. I said, it's only once a month for, 4 hours, but man, it feels like it's 3 times a month for, 10 hours or 2 full days of my attention. He goes, I get it. It's, the whole elephant in how do you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. And he said, well, why don't you build a small system, a small practice, a small whatever that allows something or somebody else to take care of the end of month billing. And then that frees you up that 5 or 6 or whatever hours it is per month. And you don't have to do that any longer. And I was like, wow, I'm like, that actually makes sense. I'm like, I don't like to do that task. I like to do other things, obviously. So by mission, whatever, I need to get rid of this, small thing that's a thorn in my side. And he goes, do you have somebody or something or someone that can help you with that? And I said, oh yeah, this person, this, do da, 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 da. I said, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. In fact, they'd be great at that role. And he said, well, then build that small system to be able to allow you to go do the other things that you like to do and that you're good at. And I thought that was just a really interesting, very simple breakdown and profound thought, like I said at the top of the show, about how to avoid burnout in one regard for growing our companies. And let me just maybe ground it a little bit more. I don't think burnout necessarily is, man, I'm sick of the heat. Man, I'm sick of the guys. Man, I'm sick of the customers. Man, I'm sick of the conditions. Man, I'm sick of the equipment breaking down. I think, like, if you had to rephrase it, like, what is burnout? I think burnout is you having your life source and your energy sucked out of you and pulled in different directions. And it's taking you away from the focus of things that you really enjoy doing at your company. And some people love being technicians. Some people love they love striping a lawn. They love cutting grass. Some people love the rush of a sale. Some people love designing architecture plans or construction plans or a landscape design, right? Some people that they literally love doing that. They come alive doing that. Other people, they love building processes and systems. Other people, they love working with personnels and having flow charts and, where do people, develop through and to in your company and remembering birthdays and sending out greeting cards or thank you cards, Christmas cards and all that mess. Some people, they really enjoy wrenching on stuff and they enjoy the mechanical aspect, of the company and fixing things and, taking a blowtorch to, a carbon filter or an exhaust filter and burning off the carbon that comes out of there. And they're like, look, prolong the trimmer life for another 4 months, 6 months, 12 months. Awesome. I don't like doing any of that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, I'm going to take it to Weingart's, my dealer, paying 50, 80, $100, and we're back at it. Or buy a new whip. I couldn't even care less. I hate that stuff. So if that's the case, what did Greg Woodstock say? He said, figure out what you like, figure out what you're good at, and then build a system around it that allows you to do more of that. Right. And so again, to go full circle to burnout, I don't think it's because of all the different topics we just listed. I think it's because we're not spending time doing things we enjoy doing at our company. Now, of course, I understand I'm a pragmatic and practical. Man, I'd love to just only sell, but somebody's got to cut the lawns. Man, I'd love to only do landscape designs. Okay, but somebody's got to go pick up the actual, plant order at the local nursery. Man, I would love to just do videography. Okay, cool. But somebody's actually got to cut the lawns and sell the work and get, sell those snow contracts. Right. And that's fine. And that's cool. But here's a quick takeaway for today. Short and sweet episode is if something's sucking your energy, if something's sucking your life force away, if it's not something that you enjoy doing, per the recommendation of somebody who's exceedingly successful and has been for a long time, it's build a system that allows you to do the other things that you like to do. And again, maybe you have a part-time sales guy. Maybe you have a part-time estimator. Maybe you hire guys to actually do production in the field. Maybe you hire somebody to wrench on your stuff. Maybe you hire it out. And it's not going to be today. It might not be tomorrow. But over time, you can build systems that allow you to do the things that you really enjoy to do. In fact, I was having a great conversation just the other day with somebody. And I said, so is your role basically doing this and this and, X, Y, Z and selling and bidding and, invoicing? And he said, yes, and no. He goes, I don't even invoice. He goes, I'm just really organizing everybody and, making sure everybody's got the tools they need to succeed and just selling and closing work. And I said, dude, that's freaking awesome. I said, who's doing the billing and invoicing? He goes, oh, I got two other people that handle that. And part of my greater team. And they focus on all of that. And I said, are you having a good time in your company? Do you enjoy what you do? He goes, oh my God. He goes, it's never been more fun than really the last year or two that I've been in my company, having my company. Had about a decent sized company doing over $1 million. I said, that's fascinating. And as I'm learning to grow and as I'm learning to do things and as I'm reading and learning and studying more successful people every single day, and as we learn and then we grow and then we learn and we grow and we learn and we grow and we shed, bad thought process, bad habits, bad actions, bad activities, and replace them with new habits, new thought processes, new activities, I'm always learning too. And something that I've really found is people ask me hey, how do you avoid burnout? And I go, man, I'll tell you what, there's still things that I struggle with too, because I still have to build systems and processes too, right? I.e. the end of month billing stuff and maybe one or two other things. But I stay engaged and active and I enjoy what I do because I really only do the kind of things that I like to do. Now, of course, sometimes the wheel falls off and you get pulled in a different role or pulled in a different direction. That's just business. That's just life. One guy calls off, two people call off, something breaks down, you need an emergency, this, whatever. But for the majority of my time or focus, I'm doing the things that I like to do. What somebody asked me recently, hey, YouTube, how do you get content? How do you do this? And how do you stay energized? How are you still doing all this stuff? And how are you also able to actually make money with it where it's enjoyable to do? Because the person was saying how do you keep this machine moving? Because man, this stuff costs time and money. And I said, well, I really only do stuff now that I really enjoy to do. And in fact, the stuff that I really enjoy to do seems to get the most traction and views and engagement any which way. And that's what I like to do. And we were talking specifically on leaving town or staying home and, when do you know to stay overnight for, a company trip or all this other stuff, some opportunities that might come up. And I said, frankly, I don't do anything, all the above anymore. I said, if I do go meet somebody, I fly in, I'm there I leave at 6 or 7 in the morning. That's fine. The kids are sleeping. I leave at 6 or 7 in the morning. I fly in somewhere at, 8, 9, 10. I hang out with my friends or friends to be or people I'm getting to know for 4, 5, 6 hours. I catch a flight at 3, 4, 5. I'm back home at 6, 7, 8. And I'm, home with the kids at 7, 8, 9. They're in bed. I shower, clean up, and I'm in bed by 9, 10, 11. And to some people, that's exhausting. I frequently, talk to my mom and she's like, hey, so where are you at right now? And it's not uncommon to be like, hey, I'm in Ohio, Kentucky, Florida, Atlanta, wherever, traveling, or I might be home and just, working on the lawn care business. But it's always hey, where are you at? Because my mom knows it could be on a whim that I'm flying out to a different state. I mean, just this last week, I was in 3 different states in 3 different days. and nobody knew. Nobody cared. I mean, nobody cares, but you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody even knew because we just go there, come back. It's no big deal. And the other people are like, that's ridiculous. Like, I haven't left my state in months, or a road trip requires like 3 weeks of planning or 3 years of planning. And I'm like, dude, just go. You just go. You can rent anything. You can find almost anybody. You know, so you get a cell phone, you got unlimited apps, unlimited services between DoorDash, Instacart, Uber, and of course your friend. And it's like, dude, there's no way you can't like move around going from anywhere right now. I could literally go plop into New York City to Des Moines, Iowa to, I don't know, LA. And you could mill about. It's absolutely wild. That's outside of like all the big boy services like an Enterprise or a Turo or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just wild what you're able to do. But that's something that I enjoy to do. I enjoy like the hustle. I enjoy the rush. I enjoy the making new friends. I enjoy the filming YouTube videos and in the creative aspect. And simultaneously, I enjoy helping making sure that my guys have the tools and equipment that they need to make sure that they're running efficiently and at peak performance and top notch, and empowering them and watching them grow and blossom. Like, to me, that's really, really cool. That's the most rewarding thing. And in fact, that's something that Greg said. He goes, what's the greatest achievement in life? Is watching other people become everything they were supposed to be, right? If you help enough people get what they want, you automatically get what you want. The greatest joy in life, watching other people grow, is what Greg Wittstock said. And so these are just some thoughts that I'm going to leave you guys for today. It's not a super heavy podcast, not a super light podcast, but maybe it's just a like a resonating stick, like a wishbone thing, like one of those forks, you know, the tuning fork, whatever it is, like a true north. Today is, you know, if you're struggling with burnout, like, what is burnout? That's something that I've really, really tried to spend quite a bit of time on. It's not necessarily burnout, really quickly. It's deconstructing things, because I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. I'm not the smartest dude you've ever met. I'm a very, very simple person. In fact, a lot less impressive, a lot less intelligent than a lot of you guys would imagine, especially when you get to know me in person. But I've had to understand that about myself. And so I've also had to ask questions and deconstruct things. And, hey, what does that actually mean? Or what does that actually say? Or what doesn't that say? Or how does that work? Or how can I do that? How can I do that for me? Like, great statement, great motivational quip, great, lesson. But how does that work for me, practically speaking? Like, I've had to spend a lot of time quantifying things, because I really have a disdain for people that just throw out the rah-rah, right? Like, that's where I really like Dan Martell's content a lot lately in his book. It's a practical guide. It wasn't just another guru. And I didn't know Dan from Adam, you know? And so to go full circle and just to wrap up the thought and not to trail on too much was, to me, burnout wasn't, man, I'm just so tired of cutting lawns, or it's so hot out there, or, you know, dealing with customers wears me down. I think for a lot of people, you're not in a flow state. You're not in a creative state. You're in this obligatory state of going through the motions, doing things that you don't really want to be doing in your company that you have to do. And sometimes it is out of necessity, like we said through the show. Sometimes you, out of necessity, have to be doing certain things in your company or at that level, right? If you're just getting started, dude, sorry, you're going to have to go handbill, pass out flyers, and knock on doors and sell work and spend time vinyl siding your own equipment, like putting in the sweat equity for weeks, months, maybe years. So you get a little cash flow coming in, you can start hiring out some professional services and building a network and building a Rolodex of people that you can, phone a friend and get stuff done, right? So sometimes it's out of necessity that you have to do certain things in your company, and that can be very draining. I've been there for sure. I've been there for a long, long time. But as of lately, I'm really enjoying my company because I started building systems a couple years ago. Little meek, little micro, little small business Brian, a company that's not much more bigger than a lot of you guys listening, or not that far behind where a lot of you guys are at as well, right? In terms of revenue, like we're all in it together for the majority of our listenership. But it's a thing where I had to, for the longevity of my career in the industry, you have to go through the rungs. You have to change gears, most likely in your company. And I didn't know that, right? And I didn't realize that. And it was sucking the soul out of me and my creativity and the opportunity. And it was putting a glass ceiling on the lid of my company, myself, and my people. And so now what I do, I really enjoy doing, but it took a couple years to get there, right? And it wasn't more than a couple years to get there, by the way. For some people, like, well, sure, 10 years from now or 5 years from now or 15 years from now. No, dude, it can be 15 months from now. It could be 5 months from now. Train a couple guys, train a couple replacements, set some expectations, have some employee handbooks, have some guidelines, have some routine maintenance, have some systems to check in, have some systems to communicate, and figure out what kind of business you're trying to get to, what kind of business model you're going to get to, figure out what kind of revenue you need to make, work some numbers backwards, what kind of profit is left over to support the lifestyle that you want, and boom, there's your blueprint. And then you just put this blueprint on a whiteboard and start putting people in place. It's really that simple. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. I said, right, simple, not easy, simple, right? And this is a concrete plan. Okay, plans change, of course, too. Sometimes your plans will fall apart, and then you got to rebuild. It's a rebuilding season, rebuilding phase. Everybody's been there, done that, okay? So I wanted to just talk about a topic, like I said, burnout. I think a lot of people are experiencing burnout, have experienced burnout. It's a question I've had a lot from a lot of people, but also in a double-edged sword fashion, I wanted to maybe distill down why are some people always able to stay motivated, always able to stay engaged, always passionate, always excited, always happy about their company. And I will tell you, more than likely, unless I got some other great theories that I can flow by, more than likely they're in a flow state and they're doing the things that they enjoy to do, right? Let's go back to the top of the hour and we'll butt it up with what Greg Wittstock said. You got to figure out what you like, what you're good at, and then build a system that allows you to do that, right? For example, I was talking to Greg, and he's like, man, he goes, I don't need to be at the finance meetings, the accounting meetings, the budgetary meetings, the HR meetings, the hiring and firing meetings, the new product support meetings, the whatever meetings. He goes, I need to be doing, YouTube videos, building the dream, working with clients, earning subs and views, spreading the message and the brand. Like those are the things that he was doing as the role of a CEO. And that's what he enjoyed doing. That was his flow state. And if you get around the guy, he's the most excited, happy, cheer-free, go-lucky, least stressed out human being that I've honestly probably met. And most of the guys at that level are kind of like that because they've built a system or a company that allows them to do what they like to do. And it doesn't mean you have to build a $5 million or $50 million company to be able to do what you want to do every single day. It could be a lot less. It could be a $300,000 a year company and you got 3 guys out in the field and you're selling work and you're like, you know what? I'm happy. You could have a $800,000 a year company, 4 or 5 guys out in the field and you're selling work and you're quarterbacking a bunch of different things and you're happy. It gives you plenty enough work-life balance. You got 20 hours in the field, 20 hours in the office, you're a family person in between it. Like that could be a perfect life. That could be a perfect business. But we have to build a system to get there. Okay. And that's well documented on all of our content, all of our guests on YouTube, at launchpreneuracademy.com. It'll be talked about specifically at Launchpreneur Academy Live this year. Tickets are going to go on sale very, very soon. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the website. We'll have announcements when it is live. I'm still working on some of that behind the scenes. I actually lost 10 days worth of actual focus based on some stuff that I was dealing with the house and the pole barn and our property and our land and some neighbors and some redesigning and some blah, blah, blahs. So, hey, I'm human too. We're going to get there though. We'll have tickets on sale within the first or second week of July. And we'll have about 300 seats available. We got bumped to a room, so there's 300 seats at the Diamond Ballroom or the Platinum Ballroom, whatever it is. And it's going to pack out, and it'll sell out. But when they go on sale, we'll let you guys know. But that's the theme this year is talking about systems and leadership. Systems and leadership. Okay, we're going to be talking a lot about that this year at Launchpreneur Academy Live. And I got some great people that are going to be coming in to share about all that, including all the stuff we were just talking about and so much more. Okay, that's what I got. A short and sweet episode. Appreciate you guys listening. Hey, by the way, happy 4th of July, belated 4th of July to so many of you guys. Shout out to all my real ones that worked on July 3rd, even if it was a half day. I don't know where in this country July 3rd became a holiday as well when July 4th was observed on a Tuesday for a holiday. Just absolutely mind-blowing. The work ethic is literally pathetic in this country. It's absurd. I think when the Roman Empire fell, one of the last stats I heard or things I heard was like every other day or every other third day was a holiday, national holiday, something like that. And also there was never a break in sports. There was always sports going on 24/7, 365. in terms of like, days of sports. And I remember that being a big thing on the news like 10, 15 years ago in the US. There was like, oh, like football and baseball mashed up and now, or whatever it was. And now there's like no break in sports ever. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we're just here to be entertained and, eat our cake and be comfortable, right? It's absolutely wild. So shout out to the real ones that worked on July 3rd. If you took the day off, dude, God bless you. Who cares? Nobody cares. Life goes on. Okay. But I'm just saying TGIF, the grind includes Friday. Dude, work the freaking holiday, work a half day, work a quarter day. Now, if you wanted to go to the parade, like we did on July 4th, went to a little family town, small town parade. That was awesome. But my guys still all crushed and did, $1,600 in revenue on the Monday. And one was feeling under the weather. He drove separate and they all crushed it. I'm like, for the love of God, like, let's get in there and put in some work. Funny story though, really quickly, and I'll wrap up with this, is there would be no Brian's Law Maintenance if it wasn't for July 4th. And you're like, what? If there wasn't July 4th, if there wasn't celebration of fireworks and all that fun stuff, there would be no Brian's Law Maintenance. When I got started cutting grass, see, nobody ever asks the why, right? Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, how many of you guys know why Brian's Law Maintenance actually got started? Well, it was to make some extra money, or, well, you wanted to cut grass and make some extra money, or you're a little boy, you were just excited because you saw your neighbor was cutting grass one day. Like, some of you guys really know the story. But listening into the show, I would bet you 99.999% of anybody listening in right now has no idea why I got started cutting grass as a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old little boy in the trailer parks of Childs Lake Estates over there in Milford, Michigan. Well, Brian, why did you get started? It's got to do something related to July 4th. I'll play along with you. All right, fair enough. It was because I wanted to buy fireworks. It's because I wanted to buy one of those, mega firework packs, that are like $100 or, $50 or $200, or I'm sure you could spend $500, $1,000 these days, right? But it's like the saran wrap plastic bag ones. It looks like a Easter basket for fireworks for little boys, if you will, at July 4th. And short story long, my family was poor. We were broke. We had no extra money for that kind of stuff. We had holes in my shoes and I had hand-me-down everythings, dude. And I said, well, I want to buy one of those packs one day. There was actually a place called the Gun Store in, what would that be? Highland, Michigan, off of M59. Some of you guys know it. I think it actually got raided one day. Like, they were selling guns illegally, whatever. But on the back side of the barn, and if you guys listen to the show and you guys listen locally, you might know this, but on the back side of the barn, they had a little booth, a little bay, I guess, maybe a little 10-foot bay, 10 to 12-foot, garage door. And it was, 20 feet long, whatever it was. And they had a bunch of fireworks out there. And one day I just remember going over there, and then I don't even know how I got over there. I was probably visiting with my dad or something like that. I just wanted to buy fireworks and I had no money. And long story short, the neighbor was cutting our grass. And one day he was no longer able to do it. And I said, hey, I'll cut some grass and maybe I can make some money to buy fireworks. And so ever since then, since I was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old, I spent $400 to $500 every 4th of July back in 1991. I was born in 86, so 96, so like 96, 97, 98 type money. Today, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, I don't know. A lot of money on fireworks, obviously. But that's why I got started with my little lawn care business back when I was 10, 11, 12 years old. It was to buy some fireworks. The neighbor across the street, his name was Brian, and he had sold me fireworks all the time. He sold me M80s, M110s maybe, something like that, or M90s, I'm not sure. But the M80s, the red, like little 8 sticks of dynamite, whatever they are, absolutely wild that I got my hands on a brown paper sack bag of those. I probably had 50 of those to my name. So the kinds that you light, you throw them in the water, waterproof wick, blows up and kills 6 fish, throw them under a vehicle. I remember specifically him lighting one, throwing one under his sister's Mustang that was parked in the driveway, and it exploded and it set the whole alarm off and all this stuff. I was like, holy shoot, how much? And he's like, I don't know, man, I'll sell you the whole bag for like $80. I was like, I have $80. And I was like 12, dude, running around with a bag of M80s. Absolutely ridiculous. But I would go up all the different fireworks stores and all that stuff, man. And me and my old friend Dustin, we would pool our money. He was my business partner, and we would cut lawns together. I would mow, he would trim. We would both push broom, right? We didn't have leaf blowers back then. And we'd buy hundreds of dollars worth of fireworks. Okay. So 4th of July is always a special one for me. I've actually toned that down a lot the last 10, 15 years, whatever it is. Priorities change, obviously. But at the end of the day, one of my favorite things to do is go watch fireworks and go see the fireworks show. If you guys know Equip Expo, last year they had that welcome party, and it was like a little dream come true. My little baby girl was sitting or standing on my back rack, on the back of my truck. I was, hugging her from behind. The wife was on the ground taking some photos and videos, watching us, and we were able to watch the fireworks explode, at 9 o'clock at night in the distance from that little AAA ball stadium that Equip Expo rented out. And it was one of the best memories I'll ever have for my entire life. Is just watching her get so excited. She couldn't have been more than a year old, right? Just watching these fireworks explode in the distance, and me watching something that I really enjoy, watching something that she really was just lit up. She's like, oh my God, right? A little 1-year-old watching fireworks, and daddy bear hugging her from behind, just watching her enjoy the fireworks and having my wife there with us. Okay. What a beautiful scene. What a beautiful memory that I'll hold for a very, very long time. So happy 4th of July to you guys. Happy belated 4th of July to you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you had a great time. Hopefully everybody's coming back to work with all 10 toes, all 10 fingers, and all that fun stuff. But any which way, that's what I got for you guys on today's podcast, today's episode. Hope this was just some insightful and helpful content for you guys to maybe ponder a little bit as you guys go through the day. Drink plenty of water. I know it's hot out there. We got 90s the next couple of days ourselves. And, real time, we're putting in work just like you guys are. Kind of waiting for the season to teeter-totter and to ride the slope downwards back into those cooler temperatures here, maybe late August, September, October. But in the meantime, we're in the dog days of summer. Stay focused, stay motivated, and do your best to avoid burnout in your company. All right, over and out, guys. Stay tuned to LawnEntrepreneurAcademy.com. Tickets are going to go on sale here in the next couple of days, maybe even the first week, like the 10th or 11th, week of July, whatever it is. For all of you guys that are going to be together in the trades here in just another week or so, I can't wait to see all of you guys there. Got about 130 people coming, which is absolutely awesome. New podcast Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So make sure you guys hit that follow button if you want to stay tuned for more great episodes. And that's what I got for you guys on today's show. Over and out. You guys have a beautiful rest of the day. It's Lawns Lessons Life. And in 2023, it's about helping you guys grow a more successful lawn care landscaping business. It's real, authentic lawn care. And that's where I'm at for you guys today. All right. You guys have a great day. Look forward to catching up with you here on the next one.
When it comes to running a lawn and landscape business, there's always something to worry about. Are my drivers and crews doing their job? Are my clients happy? Are my trucks and machines safe? How can I make more money? Where can I save some money? With GPS Track It, you don't have to worry about it, because our software gives you a level of clarity and control over your business that you've never had. From real-time vehicle and asset tracking and optimized routing to efficiency reports and more, reach your fullest business potential. Call 866-845-1410 or visit gpstrackit.com/BrianLM to get started. That phone number and special link are in the show description. GPS Track It. Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.